Still, so I mentioned this a few weeks ago. I think it was Craig that was on, but I said, you know what we got to do? I heard Aaron talk about the Dabbleverse and talk about how gay it is. Oh, it's so gay. Carl's so gay now. And yes, Carl's terribly gay, but we all know that. And I said I got to defend my guy here. I don't think Carl's the only gay one. I think it's very interesting to watch early Aaron talk about the Dabbleverse because now he has such negative things to say about. Oh, they're all so fucking gay there. They're all lame. They're not cool like me. Well, I decided to go back a couple years to when Aaron had Karl Hamburger, Heberger. I know that's not his real name. He had Karl on the show. And they discussed the Dabbleverse. Now, I expected this to be very contentious. I thought this would be all Aaron finger waving and say, "What? Don't you understand? You're doing gay things on the internet. Why are you doing that, Karl? It's terribly gay of you." By some chance, that's not what I found. It was a little different than I was expecting. So let's hear some of these two old pals kibitzing. And let's, as my guy Tukey always points out, they were best friends. Don't forget that about Karl. Him and Aaron, best buddies. And what you're about to hear will not dispel that.
They had a tandem bike. The first one here is called Timing.
Okay.
Karl, hello, sir.
Hey, what's happening, Aaron?
Oh, not too much. Just staying on way too long this morning because I wanted to talk to my good buddy Karl from Who Are These Podcasts. And hey,
I was going to say you're on like hour 7 right now. I feel bad for you.
We're going to be doing, we did this when, was it Gino or Bob Levy came on? We ended up booking a time with them that they could do. And we were like, well, I'm not going to cut the show off and then start up a new stream and then get that one going. We'll stay on through and then do it that way.
Hey, you picked this time, not me. So
I love that, by the way, where Aaron, this is how you know Aaron's a manipulator. Right out of the gate, he's like, I said, I guess we got to get Karl on. We got to kind of work around the schedule. And Karl's like, what are you talking about? You told me when to come out. I said, my day was wide open. Aaron's like, fine, I guess. If the master needs this time. And Karl's like, no, you picked it. What are we doing here?
I was just watching Karl's mind for the moment Mr. Piggy enters his head for the first time.
It is interesting, though. Aaron used to have Bob Levy on, Karl, all these Dabbleverse people. It's weird how gay. You know what? The Dabbleverse probably didn't exist yet. We'll have to get to some clips where Aaron likes the stuff they used to talk about, like when it was a political show that Karl did. Aaron will probably compliment him on that. So let's keep going.
Yeah, no, it was 100% I picked this time because I should have clarified. Yeah, when we did it with Gino, I was like, I think I kind of like that. We just get through everything that way. So for you, I just went, yeah, let's do the same time.
All right,
good, buddy. All good.
Jesus, you two. Just start the fucking show.
He has a different tone in his voice when there's no goal at the end of the thing, Like, this is a totally different Aaron.
It was weird. The goal didn't come up. It was strange. It was weird to watch Aaron do an hour of broadcasting. I don't think he told anyone to donate once. It was bizarre.
This one's called Into the Dabbleverse.
Oh, so this is going to be where Aaron chastises Karl and says, hey, man, you're better than this. Why do you reduce yourself to talking about John and all this stuff? All right, this is what we've all been waiting for. Aaron talking about how much he hates the Dabbleverse. Let's let it rip.
Be all right. So I don't think we're going to be able to pull it off with Perry, but I don't know if you've ever seen Windy City Heat. It's one of my favorite comedies. It's so goddamn funny. And to have Perry on, I think will be a hoot. It was cool to see that he kind of got in on the Stuttering John stuff.
Well, so I don't know what's going on with that. I think people are just pretending to be stuttering.
Why is that cool? First of all, Perry Caravello, cool. If you don't know Perry Caravello, these two have a fascinating discussion about Windy City Heat. And if you don't know Perry, he's a guy similar to John in that, like, he just exists so the chat can fuck with him. Like, I think he makes a living off of that, basically. So he's a similar character to some of these other lol cows that people have discovered. And Aaron's talking about how great that is. And he's like, oh, man, I love watching Perry Caravello almost as much as I love watching Stuttering John.
stuttering John and fucking with him.
Yeah.
And of course he flies off the handle all the time. So I think that just kind of worked for him because I was a little confused about that.
All right, yeah. This is a Baggy Monster's just a gleam in his eye, not even a thought in his mind yet.
He's like, it's so awesome, man, that you guys have created this thing where you just make fun of a guy on the internet. Meanwhile, now he's like, oh, it's so lame that you guys do that.
He's like, let me help you sharpen this sword. I'm sure it'll be great forever. Never turn on anyone.
I hate that you do that to John. Why do you do that? So mean of you.
Yeah, this one's actually called Aaron Hates John Talk.
Oh, yeah, no, that's what I found most in this is that Aaron, he's disgusted. When he had Karl on, I kind of felt bad for Karl because he just had him on to hammer the type of show Karl does, and I don't think that's right.
Active Prince says in the chat, this is Aaron, E-R-I-N, not Aaron, A-A-R-O-N.
I like that. Yeah, it's true. He is giddy. Like,
Yeah.
Funny.
You know, it's funny to talk to like a Bob Levy who was around Stern for a long time and who obviously picked up a lot of stuff from working with Stern, like in broadcasting ability. And then to see someone like John who worked so close to Howard and then to watch him he's like Opie. Like you put him in there by himself and he's like a babe in the woods. He doesn't know what the hell to
this is
do.
weird. Aaron knows all the characters that they make fun of? That's very strange.
What is a blind mic?
I thought he thought it was so gay that we all did this stuff. But he's like, no, it's really interesting to watch Stuttering John. Almost as interesting as watching Opie. It's so weird that Aaron talked like this.
Yes.
And isn't that funny, Aaron? Because we've probably both had that scenario happen to us. We're like, oh shit.
We're just two equals. We're two guys that talk about people making fun of themselves on the internet.
We're just two guys with wood paneling and both have wives, right? We both have wives right now, right?
We're just a couple of straight guys. We're exactly the same.
Feel like hot tubbing, Karl? You want a hot tub, Karl? Come over here, Karl.
Some time now. I'm not really prepared. And what do you do when that happens? You never show up unprepared again. You learn your lesson. Like, that sucked. I'm going to have shit to talk about. If anything, I'm guilty of too much prep. I prep for my show.
Oh, come on, Karl. Don't beat yourself up like that. Hey, listen, we're here to beat up on Aaron. I hate to see you like that. If anything, you know, what are my greatest flaws? I care too much. I work too goddamn hard.
It's not a way to beat back those gay rumors by saying you take too much prep either, Karl. Come on. Don't clip that, people.
I want to make sure that we're going to have interesting things to talk about and we're not just filling time. John comes on his show over and over again, and if the guest is 5 minutes late, he's got nothing to talk about. He starts scrolling through his Twitter feed, looking for something to talk about. It's so embarrassing.
Yeah, no matter what you think of Howard now, obviously, but he's the best to ever do it.
It's Aaron, E-R-I.
Is that Aaron Imholte? It's weird. I expected to hear, when I heard Aaron's voice, I thought it would go, yeah, Karl, I don't really give a shit about this topic. I didn't think it would go, oh, let's dive deeper. I'm fascinated by Stuttering John.
I haven't heard Rumble Rants in like 30 minutes. Who is this guy? Where's the Rumble Rant?
And you sat there for over a decade with him, and like to not be able to watch him, because there were probably numerous times where Howard, a guest, didn't show up or they were late, and Howard would move on like nothing was missed, and just John. It's how you know he never took it seriously.
I should have done. Hold on, I like Karl. He's like, we're just two guys connecting right now. You and I are the same. This will never change.
Forever.
But it is. Maybe I should have interspliced them the way that we did with the DSP clips, because how often now could you find clips of Aaron being like, oh, it's so lame the way they talk about John. It's embarrassing when they talk about. And now he's like, if you watch him interview Karl, he's like, Karl, let me get a peek inside your brain. How did you come up with the genius move to make fun of Stuttering John? He's like, he's so into it here. And because like fans didn't give a shit about him talking about John, all of a sudden he's like, it's really gay what Karl and those guys do. I think it's so gay of them.
Yeah, I'm also starting to think that Karl might befriend people for future, fostering friendships for future ribbing. So, goddamn you, Karl! I'm going to look at your happy text to be a little different from now on.
Let me get closer to this guy.
We find out all his secrets.
I can learn more about him.
Yes. Right. Yeah, actually, my buddy Drew Lane from the Drew and Mike show, he was getting in on the action a little bit, offering John money to take an IQ test against Anthony Cumia. And so John had to address.
Hey,
That was my idea.
God damn. How much money does John owe at people out there?
For IQ test. That's a hilarious debt to have. Like, I know guys that are like in the hole X amount of dollars for like gambling or like, oh yeah, I got I'm 20 G's in the hole on IQ test bets.
That's the greatest gambling thing I've ever.
Fuck, man. I really thought the Texans would cover in the second half last night. Oh, same. I've been led to believe I have a 165 IQ. So that's cost me a lot of money.
I couldn't solve the physics part. My IQ should be higher. It's fucking
The Drew and Mike show. He goes, I've never even heard of the Drew and Mike show. Meanwhile, they were the #1 show in Detroit. When Howard entered that market in the 90s, Howard talked about him every day for weeks. Like, are you even paying attention
Karl
to the show that you are?
Such a sucker. He's like, maybe he and I can be doing Who Are These Socials one day. Like he looked at Aaron as he thought he had a friend here. And Aaron just like one day was like, no, what you talk about is gay. I don't even like it anymore.
I'm stuck on the last thing. I'm at bankruptcy court with Stuttering John, and the judge is reading. What are these IQ test losses? 10,000 to Blind Mike, 10,000 to Anthony Cumia. Who are these? What are these?
It says here, Blind Mike is stupid. $20,000. What does that mean?
You're going to want to keep that one.
The call screener of.
Yeah.
To say that you don't know who they are is actually more of an indictment on you that you're not even paying attention on the show, because Howard knows who the fucking Drew and Mike show is.
So you guys are doing it. Shuli's doing it. Anthony's doing it. I think that's so cool because like Uncle Rico.
Wait. Go back. I misheard. It sounded like he said that's so cool. Obviously, he said it's so gay of you. So he's listing off all these people: Karl, Shuli, Anthony. And again, I thought I heard something, but obviously I misheard it. What he's about to say is, it's so dumb of you guys to do that. I think it's really horse shit that you guys talk about John all day. I think it's really lame.
On the show, because Howard knows who the fucking Drew and Mike show is.
So you guys are doing it. Shuli's doing it. Anthony's doing it. I think that's so cool because like Uncle Rico and Who Are These Podcasts? Like Who Are These Podcasts is like the original. It's the one that got the ball rolling on everything. And then Uncle Rico kind of occupies that space of like guys who knew John personally.
You need all
and, like,
these layers. What you need, actually, it's weird that because one day I won't think this, but I'm not going to let that affect my interview with Karl. I think it's great that there's so many shows talking about John. I think there actually needs to be more John coverage.
He was apparently writing the almanac of the early Dabbleverse. He got all these facts straight.
You know, a lot of people think Shuli stole your bit. What I think is we can never be satiated with all the John coverage. I think it's really great. Cut to now him being like, it's stupid. I think it's stupid and gay that they talk about John.
He did a 180.
These personal
He flip-flopped, Mike. He flip-flopped.
interactions. And like when you watch Chad, he'll like try the divide and conquer thing with Uncle Rico and Who Are These Podcasts and me and Gino and all this other stuff.
No one will ever divide us, Karl.
No.
That's one thing that'll never work. Pitting you and me against each other.
kind of come together and deal him out is, I don't know. I thought that was kind of cool.
Everything's so cool. This is cool.
Everything's
Aaron.
awesome. Man.
Cool, Aaron, baby.
Everything you guys are doing is so cool. I love all you guys talk about John all the time. What I really love is that you'll never make fun of me. There's just so much stuff I love about you guys.
And the fact that I kind of look like a sprocket from Saturday Night Live. He looks like a sprocket. All right, this next one is called Teen Titans.
Oh, this is a very fun nugget for fans of the Kirk Minahan show. I couldn't, my jaw dropped when he said this. But shout out to Justin Trudell. But this is how Aaron viewed himself in the grand scheme of the Dabbleverse. Which, hold on, let me predict. He's talking about where he is. So he's saying like, you know, like if the Avengers, Karl would be, I don't know, Tony Stark, I guess. So Aaron is probably like, I'm a guy who walks out of the movie theater because I don't care for this, right? I assume that's where he has himself, but it might be a little different.
Let's go. So John created, shoot the Uncle Rico show.
Yeah.
Obviously, but also, I mean, the whole Dabbleverse.
Yeah, the whole thing.
I consider you a part of the Dabbleverse at this point.
I am. I'm like one of those. I'm like one of the Teen Titans of the Dabbleverse. I'm like kind of the outside. I'm like Nightwing. I'm not.
Right.
I'm
Hold
not
on.
Batman.
He's a guy that wants to be in more. He's like, well, Karl, I'm but a humble servant to you.
Teenage boy. What?
Teen Titans. Hopefully Aaron's not doing what Justin did to them. But it really is great that he's like, oh, Karl, that's too much. Like sometimes if you compliment me, I'm like, all right, Casey, what are we doing? That's
Every
what Aaron's
time.
doing here, where he's like, hey, please, come on, save that for off air. I don't need my ego inflated on air. Don't put me in such high regard as being involved in the Dabbleverse. And now he talks about how much he hates. It is great to watch old Aaron because he's a different guy. It's weird.
Yeah.
Man, I'm not Superman. I'm not Cyborg or anything. I'm one of the Teen Titans over there.
But
off
when
to
you
the
make
side.
when you make a cameo, when you make an appearance in the Dabbleverse, you're not out of place.
Right, they go, oh, hey, look,
Oh,
it's
Aaron, yeah.
look, it's
Like
Nightwing.
Karl, hey,
oh,
buddy, don't talk yourself down.
Take
just
the
two
news off.
buttons.
Yes. Step down from the chair, Aaron. You'll be okay, Teen Titan.
okay.
Exactly.
Now get the fuck out of here, Nightwing. It's Batman's turn. Nice to see
Did
you.
you talk?
He
The irony,
viewed Karl as Batman.
Right. He's kind of asking for it too. He's like, "Oh, I'm just Nightwing. I could never be Bat. Maybe I could be Bat. No, I could never be Bat." He's asking for it.
Bruce, please, enough. I could never be the Dark Knight myself.
You talk about so many different internet characters on your show. I don't know how you keep up with all of that. So I'm assuming the people who are watching this know what we're talking about because I'm kind of like,
Karl's way off. I watch Aaron's show now, and I hear how gay it is to be fixated on all these internet characters. So it was pretty embarrassing for Karl, I'm sure. And keep in mind, this interview was years ago. I'm sure Karl got over the sting that Aaron's about to serve him. But clearly, Aaron's about to go, what are you talking about? I don't talk about internet characters. That's gay. Why would I do that?
assuming the people who are watching this know what
I think this
we're
could-
talking about because I'm kind of like going deep with everything.
No,
here.
it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. No, they
Okay,
know
yeah, so-
all the players. Yeah,
Oh no, we share ideas, you and I. Aaron's like, please, Karl. This is a community. You take a little bit from me, I take a little bit from you, but we all make up the Dabbleverse. I may merely be the Teen Titans, which are Teen Titans part of like DCU. What world is that he's living in?
I don't know.
I thought it was a
but-
kids cartoon.
It's like Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think the Teen Titans apply to Marvel or DCU.
He's
Oh,
just trying to say I'm a small potato in this world of giant potatoes. I can never be a big potato
Yes.
be covered all day
As-
by Karl
You know.
on a show called Piggy.
I'm sorry to use such a cliche analogy, but you are Batman and I am the Teen Titans. As everyone probably already thought that about you and I, but
This next one's called Two Buds.
it makes me sad, but I'm glad Karl experienced this. These are just two friends riffing right here.
So yeah, but yeah, you mentioned that we have all these people we follow now, and I just wanted to let you know about the last one. I didn't know you had her on again. I
it's
don't
fine.
want anyone to share in anything I have because Lord knows I can fly off the handle from time to time.
Aaron, the number of shows that you and I both critique and review on a regular basis, there's going to be times
Yeah.
when I'm saying shit about someone that
These
you
are just
like.
two
and
equals.
So crazy.
Listen, Aaron, we share. And Aaron's like, well, Karl, I really appreciate that. That's great. Like, here's the thing. If Karl and I ever get to, maybe Karl will take this wrong and we'll have some epic feud and we hate each other. But you're not going to hear me all of a sudden go, and I never thought his show was good. I thought it was a stupid idea. I always hated when he would make fun of Stuttering John because that would be insane for me to say. It doesn't make any sense because I also do it. What we're watching here, and the reason I thought this was interesting to watch, is you're watching two guys just bond over having so much in common. And then one day, Karl was like, oh, a lot of the stuff Aaron does is pretty douchey. And Aaron was like, it's okay. I never even liked him and I hated everything he did. So no skin off my nose. I always thought he was very lame.
Yes, no tape exists out there of me brown nosing and washing those balls.
Meanwhile, this is them holding hands and skipping through Minnesota.
Karl is exactly the same years later. This guy is 180 degrees different. It's hilarious.
They could have flown from Rochester to Minnesota on the energy they were getting from one another.
Think of how many things happened between this moment and today that we know about Aaron. Just
Right.
drugs,
Right.
hot tubs, wives, crazy shit, lawsuits.
It's fine. It's all
Absolutely.
good.
Well,
I treat life like a roast. I honestly, I don't take anything that seriously.
Okay,
I
know if
really
we
don't
need
care.
the inside. We're here to make fun of Aaron here, Karl. Stop queuing me up. Hey
Yeah,
guys,
not
I just
the road.
fly by the seat of my pants. I treat life like a I like the idea like Karl is Jeff Ross out in the wild.
Well, when you're getting gassed up by happy, cool steel toe, it's hard. You just want to go in on yourself.
when people-
Karl's walking into bars in Rochester and everyone's like, uh-oh, we know what's coming from this guy. We're about to get roasted.
Like Ethan and Ralph try to get into real beefs with me and
Yeah.
tell me he knows where I live. I'm like, what are you talking about? We're on the internet making jokes. What do you mean? Who cares? Who gives a shit?
I'm jealous because I'd like to spend a little more time on Ethan, but like,
Jealous of you.
Jealous. You can just handle it that way, which I pretty soon will show you that I cannot handle it this way.
Oh, I just wish I had more time to be more like Karl. Damn it. Curse you, hours in a day. Why do you exist? Without you, I could be more like Karl, my best friend.
it's so much harder to find stuff on him. Maybe you've got some source material, but it's a little harder because he's not on YouTube. So I got to dig a little deeper, and I'm lazy. But
Oh, yes.
Come on.
All right.
Aaron, you're not lazy. You're a fantastic broad. Don't beat yourself up like that.
I mean, he's so honest about himself here about who he will future become and not do a real show or care about and just be lazy and take your money. Aaron, you're so honest.
He's giddy to have Karl on. And like I had Karl on before I really interacted with him. Like that was our first interaction was I had him as a guest on this show. And I'm sure you could find he and I having similar conversations. The difference is years later, I don't now go, he's really gay. Everything he does is gay. I hate that guy for how gay he is. I love him for how gay he is.
Exactly.
There's other video platforms than YouTube.
I know, and I'll get
That's the only one you
there.
know about.
I started a
Karl starts to smell a little bit of a locale. He's
Karl, you son of a bitch! You invented Rumble Rants.
like, "You did,
That's because of Karl. I didn't know that.
oh, you're to blame, Karl. And to thank. Thank you so much.
Rumble account. I just have to figure out how to set the whole thing up. I'll get there.
It's fine. It's fine.
No, the reason we started branching out into so many different people, though, is because like you and Shuli, like you had the John shit covered. And we were like, all right.
You guys do a
let's-
masterful job. But well, here's what Aaron's saying is, you guys do such a fantastic job talking about Stuttering John. Yet I still want to emulate you so desperately that I found other people to goof on the same way. And just a couple years later, he's like, oh, I hate how gay it is. Why is it so gay what they do?
Why do we make fun of each other online? This should be a place for cool things.
Yeah, he's like, oh my God, I can't believe people who get their kicks off of making fun of lol cows on the internet. It's so despicable. I had to go back 2 years to find this. It's not that long ago.
No.
Let's find some other people. And God sent me an angel named Chad Zumach, who, like, while everyone else was talking about John, we
Yeah,
kind of
God sent him an angel. Or did Karl start talking about him? I can't remember the order of operations, but essentially Aaron is saying he views Karl as God. I think that's what we can surmise from that.
Yes. Who's on your bench, Karl? Can I cover any of these people on your bench you're not covering right now? Because they're way better than anyone I'd choose.
I did it with Ojeda. I also wouldn't go. Here's the thing: is I wouldn't go the direction of being like everything Karl's ever talked about is so gay. I also wouldn't go the direction of being like, Karl, without you, I wouldn't know who Richard Ojeda was, and therefore, you are a god. Like Aaron doesn't believe anything he's ever saying. He's just so extreme, one direction or the other.
Yes.
snuck in It was kind of after you and Anthony had gone after him like a year prior for the credit card stuff, so the Chad stuff had cooled down. We saw the video of Chad talking about how he was going to jump in on John's stuff. And I sniffed this guy out immediately, as everyone else probably did.
The irony here that now Chad is, a lot of people still view Chad as a locale, but he is clearly has more numbers, more people.
Oh, he bested Aaron for sure.
Yes. He got over $800 in super chats before his last show.
Well,
so yes, Aaron would kill for this.
Listen to what Aaron's actually saying here is, and again, I know I'm fixated on this and I keep repeating it, but it's the reason we're doing this segment, is that Aaron is now like, oh, I hate the Dabbleverse and everything they stand for. Just making fun of a guy. But what you're hearing him say to Karl here is, I found my stuttering John. Now I can do what you guys do. Like, he is so influenced by Karl that he's literally telling Karl, I wanted to do your show so badly that I made Chad Zumock my stuttering John. And now only 2 years later, he's like, oh, I can't believe those guys do that. It's so, it's despicable what they do.
Now he's everyone's stuttering John. Hey, right. Aaron, thank you.
That's the other, by the way, the other like hypocrisy and all this, that you could take this angle, is play it all, and every time he's like, oh my God, Karl and Patrick Melton and all these people, they center their show around me. I guess they make their show. While we're listening to Aaron be like, so I made my entire show focus around Chad Zumock.
The Z-Man.
It's like, were you thanking Chad back then, Aaron?
Let me tell you about the Mud Shark.
Guy's a clout-chasing phony. And then
that was the turning point for me, too.
Yeah, the more people started sending...
Still a hot war, by the way, between Karl and Chad. That shit is super hot.
That's true, yeah.
Us more shit. We were like, oh, this guy's fun. Then it started bothering him. Even though, I should say, it doesn't bother him. But it started to seem like he cared a little bit. And then we were like, and you know this feeling doing the kind of show you do. That's the moment where you feel your teeth sink in and you're like, oh, I don't have to let go now. This is great.
Oh, really, Aaron? That's so weird. Because when people do it to you, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, it's gay. It's terribly gay. It's remarkably gay when people do it to Aaron. Yet he's describing what all these shows are and how badly he wanted to be one of them. Like, Aaron, you could have just kept doing it, but you were mad that the people that like these shows also made fun of you. Like, they were hounding Karl for a year. You got to do a Steel Toe episode. I think they did one without him. I think it was like Doug and Brian Johnson or something. Because Karl was getting like such high demand, and he was like, I don't know, I kind of like the guy. Let someone else give it a try. And Aaron's like, oh my God, how I just want to do a show like that. And he's figuring it out. He sucked at it. And now because it would be like if I was like, the NBA is really gay. I hate how gay the NBA is because I can't play in it. That's the main reason I think the NBA is gay, is they won't let me participate.
That would be amazing. NBA, let him play. This one's
you.
called Doesn't Get It.
Okay, I don't remember what this is, but I have a feeling.
Irony.
I don't remember what it is. I have a feeling it's going to be Aaron hitting the nail on the head. I'm sure.
That's all right.
Right. Chad doesn't have that, like, let's make fun of the guy. You know what it is, and not to get too psychological here, but like, he talks about how he was the cool kid in high school. It really is. He either has kiss a guy's ass like Kevin Brennan, or he has, let's shove the nerd in the locker and be like high school bully mean. And the rest of us are like, no, dude, see, we're past that part in life. We just kind of want to tell jokes and make our friends laugh as we use this person as the target. That's it.
Whoa, Aaron.
Cool, Aaron.
But okay, so I guess when we do it, it's different, right? We're being too mean. Is that his argument?
Yes, we have hair on the corners of our head, so it's different.
Why, when Aaron makes fun of someone, it's like they should understand that we're just trying to have fun and laugh at a guy, and they can handle it normal. However you handle it is fine, but don't get so angry about it. And I know I'm doing Patrick Melton's Aaron. I can't help it anymore. But like, he's like, why don't they understand? We're just having a piss, you know? We're just having a little fun with these people. And now Aaron's like, oh my God, they're seething. they're blind with rage. They hate me so much. It's like, no, use your own rules, Aaron, that you used just a couple years ago.
Next week you're gonna bring, or 2 weeks you're gonna bring a clip where Aaron is just beating this guy up for setting a goal and trying to get money, because that's like what he's doing.
I can't believe this guy had his wife on the show and it didn't work out well. Oh my God, he got divorced. What a loser he is for getting divorced. And then I have to go back and find, I'm like, Aaron, remember you had a wife. Here she is. I have to play those clips.
He
does not get that.
He doesn't
Doesn't get it.
Doesn't
Who
get it.
said this? Is this?
Yeah. Tell me if you guys can remember painting anyone, painting Karl in this light. Tell me if you can remember anyone doing that.
It was really tragic, but look at you. People surreptitiously recording chat and sending it into you. Are you becoming a little Karl Redbar over here?
Oh,
What's
no,
going
God,
on?
no, please.
We Karl Redbar? What is this? What's the bit
yeah.
called? The Spy? Oh, God, I can't remember what the fucking segment's called. The Spy and... Are we at Spy and the Pry with Karl?
Somebody said, I forgot who said this, but I thought it was perfect, that Red Bar is the evil Karl from Who Are These Podcasts?
Yeah, I
It
think
was
that's
me, you
pretty
dickhead.
accurate.
I looked at it, I said it like a week earlier than he did this interview. He heard me say that line, and he brought it on Aaron's show, and is like, yeah, some freak said this. I'll never do a show with that guy. But son of a bitch, he stole my line, and he workshopped it on Aaron.
These old videos are finding out a lot of things. This one's called Hitting Its Stride.
Yeah, well, I cut out the part. He's like, yeah, some disabled loser said this to me today. I can't think of his name. And then I cut it, but like right after that, he's like, Aaron, what do you know about social media? You interested in possibly doing a show together? You seem like a fun guy to broadcast with.
Aaron, tell me what you think of jingles. What are your thoughts on jingles? You like lots of them? I like lots of them.
It was funny because he's like, I just can't remember what freak said this to me. And I'm like, it was me. I said that.
Hitting Its Stride.
All right, so this is interesting because I guess it's no longer in stride. The walk is out of sync. But this is what the Dabbleverse was at that time in Aaron's mind.
Oh man. So so Chad, you got John, you got all these new people you're adding in. Who Are These Podcasts really seems to have been hitting its stride the last couple of years here, because you get the best of both worlds. You get to bring on the...
It's a multi-year-long stride. Whereas, oh man, this is just fantastic what you guys are doing. In 2 years, it'll be very gay. But right now, oh, mwah, it is beautiful.
It's a marathon. That's not a stride. Stride is a sprint. You're doing
It's
a sprint.
marathon, not a stride. I like that.
the new ones, and you always get to check on the old ones. So you guys, it kind of feels like you found that perfect balance.
It feels, Karl, forgive me if I'm overstating this. It feels like you do the perfect podcast. It feels like you have mastered podcasting, and I really don't see a world where I turn my back on that thought. I can't imagine an environment where all of a sudden I think you do a terrible podcast. I can't envision that world. It actually is perfect. You've done it, my friend.
He's sharpened that sword so sharp, and my belly is just sitting right here. Don't stab me. All right. Guys like us. It's the final one here.
Well, these are just two guys. You remember the John and Jeff show? Those were two guys, and so are these.
Dude, you know what it is? I just realized what this is. So you are on your way up. You know, you're building an audience.
Sure.
You're building.
Karl, I hope Karl understands that this was not meant to make fun of him, but there were some clips I couldn't avoid it, where he's like, Aaron, my man, you and me are going to be counting our Spotify money soon enough.
This is a man that wears a Buffalo Bills jersey, so he's used to making bold predictions and then often being disappointed. Hey,
Aaron, here we sit, two of the greats.
Like a before and after picture from a hair club.
So you are on your way up. You know, you're building an audience.
Sure.
You're building followers. The show is growing.
Even
You're
Aaron
doing
didn't
great.
believe it. Aaron was like, I guess.
Wait, up? What are you talking about?
Things. Obviously, WATP is on its way up. We're still
Yeah.
growing and building an audience. Chad has been on the downside of his career since he got fired from the radio show in Cleveland.
Yeah.
And that's why he lashes out at all of us so much, because he's so butthurt.
Karl, I agree with you about Chet. I really liked what you said about me being on the way up, though. Can we focus more on that, please? I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, what percentage would you say I'm up?
Do you think right now my goal is 350. In 2 years, do you think I could knock that down to 330 perhaps?
Yeah. You think I'll ever meet a hot man lawyer?
Karl, I'm so on the way up that even if I met another couple in Minnesota, it wouldn't shatter my world that I currently live in.
Where should I keep my kids, Karl, while I'm dating this new wife? Tell me what to do, Karl. I need help.
Over the fact that these other shows are growing and he cannot find an audience. He can't get 100 people to support him on Patreon.
Yeah.
And I hate to use the word jealousy because I feel like that's a cop out, but Chad might be a bit jealous of guys like us.
Aaron,
Guys
you
like
and I
us.
are alike in every way.
Karl, we need to see your hot tub report for the last few years, because if you're like this guy.
Aaron, I tell you, my young friend, it's like looking in a mirror. we are just two peas, my man.
God damn, that guy. So please, more of that. Let's do some more history bits, because that's fun.
Well, so far we've found Aaron talking about DSP, and we've talked Dark Side Phil, and we've heard him talking about Karl in the Dabbleverse. And I dare say I found traces, but they're very minor, traces of hypocrisy. So if you guys have any more examples, like I said, if you have examples of him being like, what kind of freak would get into a foursome with another podcasting couple?
Who would ask for money on their show? That's crazy. Yes, anything like that would be amazing.
But yeah, I thought that was fun. It is like, obviously there's moments where, from Karl's perspective, it is funny, but like Karl's kind of always been that guy. Like I imagine he'll hear that segment and laugh, whereas Aaron will deny it existed. Like we talked about Howard Stern earlier. Aaron will be like, I've always thought the Dabbleverse was tremendously gay, and I was nice to Karl. I suppose I was doing him a favor, but I just hate what their show does. And then we hear him like, Karl, how have you done it? How do you do it? How did you become such a master at this?
Go to blindmike.net for everything Blind Mike. Look at me. I did it. Kragers did it.